action, or just great storytelling. The Matrix delivers on every level. It's a product of its time, born from the tech anxieties and cultural shifts of the late 90s, but it's also timeless, speaking to universal truths about humanity and choice. For my fellow cinephiles, here's a quick rundown of the nitty-gritty. The film runs for 136 minutes, rated R for violence and some language. It was shot on 35mm film, giving it a gritty yet polished look. The cinematographer, Bill Pope, used innovative lighting to create the film's distinct atmosphere. The editing by Zack Steinberg keeps the pace relentless while balancing action and quieter, philosophical moments. The costume design by Kim Barrett gave us those iconic leather outfits that define the era's cool factor. Every element of The Matrix works in harmony to create something truly special. If you're watching for the first time, go in blind and let the story unfold. If you're revisiting it, pay attention to the details, the way the dialogue hints at deeper truths, the symbolism in the visuals, the sheer artistry of it all. The Matrix isn't just a movie you watch. It's a movie you feel, think about, and talk about for years. So, grab some popcorn, dim the lights, and plug into The Matrix. You won't regret it. If you thought we were done raving about The Matrix, think again. There's so much more to this film that makes it a must-watch, and I'm here to break it all down for you. In the first part, we cover the basics. The visionary Wachowski siblings, the stellar cast, the groundbreaking bullet time effects, and the big ideas that make this movie a cultural juggernaut. Now, let's go deeper into the nuts and bolts of how The Matrix was made, its lasting legacy, and why it's still relevant today. Whether you're a first-time viewer or a long-time fan, there's something here to make you appreciate this film even more. So, let's dive back into the digital rabbit hole. First, let's talk more about the Wachowskis' vision, because The Matrix didn't just happen by accident. Lana and Lily Wachowski were obsessed with blending genres and ideas in a way that felt totally new. They were huge fans of comic books, anime, and philosophy, and you can see those influences everywhere in film. They drew inspiration from works like Jean Baudrillard's Simulacra and Simulation, a philosophy book that questions the nature of reality. Yep, it even appears in the movie as a subtle nod. The Wachowskis also looked to Hong Kong action films, cyberpunk literature, and even westerns for inspiration, creating a melting pot of styles that feels like nothing else. They wanted The Matrix to be a film that worked on multiple levels. A popcorn action flick, a visual spectacle, and a brainy exploration of existence. And boy, did they nail it. One of the most impressive things about The Matrix is how it was made on a relatively tight budget of $63 million. In 1999, that was a decent chunk of change, but it's nothing compared to the $200 million-plus budgets of today's blockbusters. The Wachowskis and their team had to get creative to stretch every dollar. For example, instead of building massive sets, they used Sydney's existing architecture, office buildings, rooftops, and streets, to create the film's dystopian cityscape. The production designer, Owen Patterson, worked miracles to make these locations feel like a futuristic, oppressive world. Fun fact, the film's opening chase scene was shot in Sydney's central business district, with the crew shutting down streets to capture Trinity's gravity-defying stunts. The attention to detail in every frame, from the grimy subway stations to the sleek, sterile interiors, makes the world of The Matrix feel alive and immersive. Let's talk more about the action, because it's a huge reason why this movie is so rewatchable. The fight choreography, led by Yuen Wu-Ping, is next level. Wu-Ping was a legend in Hong Kong cinema, and the Wachowskis flew him in to bring his expertise to Hollywood. They wanted the fights to feel like a blend of martial arts, anime, and comic book panels, larger than life but grounded in real skill. The cast trained for 4 months in Los Angeles before filming, learning kung fu, wire work, and weapons handling. Keanu Reeves, despite recovering from neck surgery, threw himself into the training, mastering moves that would make any martial artist proud. Carrie-Anne Moss and Lawrence Fishburne also pushed themselves to the limit, with Moss reportedly doing her own wire stunts for that iconic opening sequence. The result is action that feels raw, intense, and beautifully choreographed, like a dance that's as thrilling as it is precise. The bullet time effect deserves another shout-out, because it's one of the most iconic innovations in film history. If you've ever seen a scene where the camera seems to rotate around a character in slow motion, like they're frozen in midair, that's The Matrix's legacy. The Wachowskis and visual effects supervisor John Gata came up with the idea to capture the impossible angles of anime and comic books. They use a rig of 120 still cameras, each snapping photos in rapid succession, then blended the images with CGI to create that smooth 360-degree effect. It took months of planning and testing, and the crew built custom software to make it work. When audiences saw it in theaters, they were floored. It was unlike anything they'd seen before. The technique was so influential that it's been copied in countless movies, video games, and even commercials since. The sound design is another unsung hero of The Matrix. The film won Oscars for Best Sound and Best Sound Effects Editing, and for good reason. Every gunshot, explosion, and swoosh of a punch is crisp and impactful, pulling you deeper into the action. The sound team, led by Dane A. Davis, created unique effects for the digital world, like the eerie hum of the green code or the distorted voices of certain characters, to make it feel otherworldly. The score, as I mentioned earlier, is a perfect blend of orchestral and electronic,